Arlington. I grew up with him being, and his dad being my parents' age and everything, so yeah.
Okay, let's call this meeting to order. Stand for the pledge and a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, you may be seated. Do a little housekeeping here before we get started with our meeting. Present at the Village Hall is City Administrator Brian Baylor, Trustee Deanna Hoopengarner, Trustee Caleb Johnson, Trustee William Steer, Trustee Tony Frexell, Trustee Rod Weaver, and Clerk Myrna Clack. On Zoom, we have Trustee Todd.
Yes, I'm here.
All right, and then we have Village Attorney Patrick Egan.
Yep, I'm present. Hello.
And Engineer Brandon Lott.
Good evening.
And then as far as guests, we've got, I assume this is Jason Fuller.
Yes, sir.
All right, and got Courtney Pestle. Courtney.
Sorry, yep, I'm here.
All right, Mindy Fitch.
Yep, I'm here.
And I got Danny Pearson.
Yep, I'm here.
All right, anybody that I missed? We've got one guest in our City Hall tonight, Ron Gully, and I think that's it. So we will begin our meeting. If I can find my paperwork. All right, the first off is an opportunity for our guests to have some public input. Does anybody want to address the board at this time?
Turn too many lights off.
Anybody want to address the board? Now's your chance. Mr. Gully.
I just need to know, do you need to know anything about these two items I have in my hand tonight?
I do not.
Okay, then I have nothing.
Okay. All right, moving on to item number 3 is approval of our minutes. You all should have received a copy of those. You should have 2. I will entertain a motion to approve the July 21st Business Development District public hearing minutes.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Motion by Johnson. Do I have a second? Second by Hoopengarner. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carried. Also in your packet should be the minutes of our August 18th, 2019 regularly scheduled board meeting.
Motion to approve minutes.
Got a motion by Hoopengarner to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Steer. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carried. In front of you should be the treasurer's report. Give you a minute to take a look at that, see if you have any questions with that. not, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion by Hoopengarner to approve the treasurer's report, pay all outstanding bills. Second by Weaver. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
Hoopengarner, yes.
Yes.
Johnson, yes.
Yes.
Steer, yes.
Yes.
Pritzel, yes. Gate
Yes.
is a yes.
Yes.
And Weaver is yes. Motion carried. Any other questions concerning the treasurer's report? Hearing none, we'll move on to engineer. Brandon, would you like to address the board?
Yeah, I don't have very much this evening, just two small items. One, we continue with the design for the new elevated tank. Looking forward to scheduling a design meeting, a kind of a 50% halfway, here's where we're at, meeting with the mayor, administrator, superintendent, and anybody else who's interested sometime next week. We're still trying to nail down a time, but we're on schedule. That's our 50% design meeting to make sure we're addressing the things that need to be addressed and answer any questions that folks may have before we finish it up, hopefully by the end of the month.
Okay, very good. Everybody
Yeah.
get that? Do you have any questions? We will send out an email as soon as we pick a date of when that's going to be. It will be first part of next week sometime. I think you had a couple of dates open there, right, Brandon?
Yeah, with Monday being Labor Day, I thought maybe Wednesday through Friday, somewhere in there.
So I will send out an email and let you know what date has been selected for that meeting.
Perfect.
It will be held here at the City Hall.
Great. And Fred, the only other thing that I had was remain available for any questions when the geotechnical invoice is addressed by the board tonight.
Okay.
Yep.
Anybody have any questions for our engineer? The only other thing, Brandon, that I'll mention to the folks here in the room and on Zoom is that that sewer issue over on Lakeshore Drive that we've been working on for the last year or so. We're having some problems finding a plumber that's able to do the work for us, so got with Brandon today. We got some information on some other plumbers that we might be able to use. We tried local plumbers in the area and not had much luck in getting back with them, so we're still working on that project. Still hope to have it finished before bad weather sets in. That's kind of an update on that. All right, anyone else have any questions or concerns? All right, moving on to attorney, Patrick.
Yep, we got just a few things. We reviewed some of the TIF documents, emailed the mayor about that this afternoon, that were available for comments, but we do defer to Jacob and Klein on that. That's their area of expertise, but we're happy to look those over. Not sure if the mayor wants to do another resolution on the emergency powers. That usually comes up under the, he's already on it. Okay. And then I did want to ask on the truck route, we have discussed establishing that. I know one of the issues that came up was how do we limit the capacity of the road without using weight as a measure? Because to enforce that would require us to weigh these trucks, and that's an additional cost and use the scale. I'm not sure if we ever got a clear answer on how we wanted to approach that. I just wanted to bring it up. If you got ideas, if not, we can keep digging into it, but we haven't forgotten about that, I guess, is the crux of that one. Last thing, I know well, not the last thing, second to last, we had one ordinance violation that wrapped up Thursday. They ended up paying the fine and we dismissed that. And then finally, there's seems to be a dispute with a neighbor and a storage unit. a resident and the renter of a storage unit. So I'm not sure if you want to address that here, Mr. Mayor, if you'd rather wait until another spot in the meeting. But
We'll probably save that towards the end under other business.
Sure.
We will go ahead and address the resolution number 2020-09-01, restoring temporary executive powers pursuant to 65 ILCS 5-11-1-6. Again, I think we've done this enough. You're all aware what this is. I will entertain a motion.
Second.
Motion by Weaver, second by Hoopengarner. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
Johnson, yes. Scarer, yes.
Yes.
Frixell, yes.
Yes.
Gates, yes.
Yes.
Weaver, yes. Hoopengarner, yes. Motion passes. All right. All right. Anybody have any questions for our attorney? We have been keeping him very busy here lately. Like I said, sent them some documents to review in reference to the TIF, and I'll explain a little bit more under our other business on that. But he's also checking into some ordinance violations and things for us to work on, so. No. And I'll explain that here when we get to the other business. All right, anything else for our attorney? All right. Thank you, Patrick. Brian, would you like to update the board on kind of your first week with us here? And
Yeah, so today's actually, day 2 of week 3. Fred asked me to kind of walk through what I've been working on. I've put it into 4 buckets. First is kind of just learning and relationship building. I met with the Greater Peoria Economic Development Committee, Chris Setti. I've then met with the Tri-County group, Michael Bruner and those guys. I drove over to Delavan to meet with Matt Fick. He's the city administrator over there, and spent some time with him just to get a feel for what the job looks like. I've been having staff one-on-ones last week and this week, just spending an hour with each of them to get to know them and understand what's going on in their lives, and both personal and professional, and what I can do to help them. I sent a note out to each of the board members and asking if you want to meet, and I'm happy to do that. I've got some time next week if you want to spend a half an hour together. I'd just like to understand your role and your thoughts and maybe some priorities. So anytime that we have time to do that, that would be great. And then I'm going to eventually schedule some time with the attorney, the engineer, and then eventually some of the main businesses within the city. I want to go out and basically just listen, learn, and build relationships. So that's one big chunk of work that I've been doing. In regards to financials, I've been a lot of good reading. I've been reviewing all the historical audits, looking over the financials. I actually enjoy that. I met with the auditor, Joanne Passmore, and spent an hour or so with her talking about the audits and how we've structured the chart of accounts and GLs and those types of things, and the work that they do to take our reports and turn them into the audit. I'm trying to do some work to design what our reporting format might look like in the future, so that we can, when we report out here, the information is a little bit more digestible, and we're talking at a high level, and then where we have issues, we can drill down. So I've been working on that a little bit and trying to align the reporting structure and the GL structure with the audit structure, so that when it comes time for them to audit, there's less work on their end and less cost to put it into audit format. I reviewed that kind of draft of the audit format with both Fred and Deanna. I've met with both of them to talk through it and gotten some good feedback and made some adjustments. Sent it back to Joanne Passmore. She's given me some additional feedback. The next step is to talk to Locus and see what kind of work and cost is associated with changing, if necessary, because I don't fully understand Locus and how it's set up, but understanding what that might look like to adjust it to be where we need to be to move forward. So spent a good bit of time doing that work. I also spent some time doing the water loss analysis, actually looking at how much we have billed out and how much we're paying and what the delta is on that for every month of this year. And if we're leaving money on the table because we're losing some. We did it both in gallons in terms of dollars, and I've sent that off to Tony and Fred and Jim, and we've got a meeting coming up where we're going to look at some of that to investigate it. There might be some dollar savings that we could find there. That's it on financials. As far as human resources, we've been going through with Tony the water clerk hiring process, and you'll hear more about that from Tony. I've been reading and researching employee handbook books, looking at ours and trying to look at some other options and seeing how we might put something together that's more robust there. And I've been researching and drafting a performance review process for the mayor's direction as to how we might have an annual process that's more robust in terms of how we set expectations and review employees. Just in terms of general stuff, just the normal job stuff, getting the phone working, the computer working, that kind of stuff. I've been learning the permit process and doing that, learning the annexation process, doing that, doing the prep for these meetings, putting the agenda together, that kind of stuff. And then more light reading. I've been reading up on the TIF and BDD districts, trying to learn that. And then when I go out and meet with these people, I've had questions that I could ask them, so they've been very helpful to take the reading and maybe turn it into something that's more actionable for me. So that's what I've been doing.
Anybody have any questions for Brian? He has been doing a good job meeting a lot of people, getting a lot of good information, so appreciate his work. Committee reports.
We did have our certificate of deposit that we did renew for the water escrow account. It did renew for $11,373.85 for 9 months at 0.41%. So it is a very short-term certificate. Hopefully interest rates by that time will start to go up a little bit. I know it's on the agenda to vote, but we had already voted on it at last meeting.
All right, anything else under finance?
That's all I have.
All right, sewer, Mr. Gates, do you have anything for us?
Not that I know of, no.
You want to talk about the fish?
The only thing I know is he's supposedly getting some more fish and the end of this month, I think. I'm not sure. End of this month, and he's going to put them in. He said the fish that they have right now are working well. So
I think he's actually looking for approval for 50 new additional fish to add to the
is that on there?
yeah.
I haven't been able to pull that up.
You're good. It's $600 basically.
You want to make a motion to approve the purchase of
Yes, please.
$600 worth of fish?
Yes, please.
All right, we've got a motion by Gates. Do we have a second? Second by Frixell. This is to purchase additional grass carp for the sewer lagoon to keep our duckweed down. And like I said, what we were able to get this spring has helped. Turtles got some of them. And so they think that with that and doing a little bit of spraying, we'll be able to get a handle on that duckweed. So, all right, we've got a motion and a second to spend up to $600 for grass carp for the sewer lagoon.
Steer.
Roll call.
There.
Steer, yes. Frixell?
Yes.
Gates?
Yes.
A yes. Weaver is a yes. Hoopengarner is a yes.
Yes.
Johnson is a yes. All right, motion passes. The only other thing that I'm aware of under the sanitary is that they have completed, I think as of today, our refurbishing of the sand filters. And so Our guys still have a little work left to do, but most of that work is done now. And the first filter that was done is working very well. I think they've got the other two cleaned up, and they'll have to wait a little bit on the third filter or the fourth filter to dry out some, so they can go in and clean that one up too. So, all in all, the major work has been completed, and they are moving forward with that. Anything else under sewer?
Not that I know of.
All right, streets and alleys. All right, police and planning.
Do you have to go to the MFD?
We don't have any on that.
From 8/16 to 8/22, there was 14 incident reports. And that's caught up. And then the Peoria County Animal Protection Services contract for $2,633.40. Take it they got back to us then now, and we're ready, finally ready to extend it.
Yep. You should have a copy of the PCAPS agreement in your boxes. As you look, this is a 4-year agreement. Looks
Similar
like.
to the, basically, if I remember right, the way it works is there's baseline services that they provide to the county. And then if you pay for a yearly contract, then you get the full suite of services as far as other, when they'll come out and do anything.
Right. It's about a 10-cent per resident increase over the life of the contract each year there. That is before you. We've got a motion on the table to enter into this agreement with Peoria County Animal Protection Services at an initial cost of $26.33.40.
That's the annual cost, correct?
Yes, annual cost for 2020, and then it goes up 10 cents per resident each year after that.
Second.
Second by Hoopengarner. Any further discussion? Okay, very similar to the last 4-year contract we did with them. All right, roll call. Frisell
Yes.
is a yes. Gates
Yes.
is a yes. Weaver is a yes. Hoopengarner's yes.
Yes.
Johnson, yes.
Yes.
Steer is yes. Motion carried. Did you have an opportunity to do any checking on the UTVs and allowing them on our,
No, that I've not looked into yet.
all right.
I did look into some ordinances, Fred. I got it. Unfortunately, they're on my laptop and not on my Surface. But there are several different municipalities that do allow them. There already have ordinances drawn up for those, for UTVs and for, of course, the golf carts already. So I will make sure I get a copy of those to Caleb also, and you and the administrator, and I'll make sure we have those for the next meeting.
All right, very good. We will put that off till our next meeting, and we'll discussion of our a possible utility vehicle ordinance. Anything else?
Nope, that's it for me.
Okay. Water.
Water, we had on August 18th, I approved 3 checks for $275. On August 19th, I approved 1 check for $6.
6.
6. This is gonna make my math look better here. And then on 8/25, August 25th, I approved 3 checks for $175. So the total was 7 checks for $456. And then to 20 shut-off notices, in the amount of $6,398.09. We had one person who was going to come in and do a level pay that we approved, but they still have yet to show up for that. We have 6 in foreclosure for a total of $1,621.07. Approximate gallons sold was 2,558,835.
That's 558.
52585.
585,835.
Yes. 2,585, 835.
All right, you want to, discuss the water tower geotechnical invoice, or do you have anything you want to mention on that?
No, I didn't see anything. I just had it. You guys give me too much paperwork. Here it is. From Whitney Associates, and this is something that they've already done services for the village. Of course, testing the ground and testing the core samples for the location that we crossed the road here on First Street for the water tower location. And that invoice was for $3,253.25 for geotechnical services.
Okay, before you, you should have a copy of the invoice. We approved this, forget which meeting it was, it's been 2 months ago. And they're actually below the estimate that, or the quote that they gave us. And so I would entertain a motion to pay the invoice for $32.53.25.
So moved.
Second.
We got a motion by Fritzell, a second by Johnson. Any further discussion on this? Anybody have any questions? Brandon, is there anything you want to comment on?
No, sir. Like you said, that was under the estimate. They did the work they said they were going to do, and it's valuable to the process, and I would have recommended approval and payment. So, nope.
All right, very good. Roll call it. Gates.
Yes.
Gates is a yes.
Yes.
Weaver, yes.
Yes.
Hoopengarner, yes.
Yes.
Yes. Johnson, yes. Steer, yes.
Yes.
Fritzell, yes. Motion carried.
Drop down to number 4.
All right.
So we're looking at getting the village administrator a new laptop for his duties here at the village office. Fred was able to get me some quotes through the state.
Yeah, it's the Dell governmental.
Okay. Both pretty decent, reasonable quotes. Did talk with Fred and recommending that we probably drop a couple of the services that we had on here, which was like keep your hard drive for 3 years, pro support, and you know, with it being a laptop, I would probably need to keep the accidental damage like Fred was talking about. But I don't know if they'll let you lower your regular warranty without keeping that in whole, so that'll probably just wash itself together. So the only thing I would recommend we try to do is remove, keep your hard drive services for 3 years. That does come with the Office 365, Suite 2, and McAfee antivirus for the laptop, so for a 12-month subscription for that. To Dell XPS 13 7390 if anybody's interested. I have copies of the quotes too.
You should have copies of the quotes in your box also. The other thing that we would use that computer for would be to run our Zoom meetings. So it would be available for that, so kind of a double duty. Administrator will use it, for his job, but then it'll also be available as we are required now to continue these Zoom meetings, at least for a while. It has the capacity to do that also. You want to make a motion to approve the no greater than 16?
I make a motion we approve the purchase of a laptop not to exceed $1,600 for the village administrator and
For the village. All right, we've got a motion. Do I have a second? Second by Steer. Any further discussion? Like I said, I don't know if it will be allowed, but there are some what they call CURE funds, C-U-R-E funds through the COVID pandemic that might be available to assist us in this. I've been checking on that. Depends on who you talk to, whether or not they say it's going to be approved or not, but we will also try to be reimbursed because it's a computer we can use for our Zoom meetings, and we're having to have the Zoom meetings because of COVID. It should fall underneath the requirements for reimbursement of those funds, but it's a reimbursing thing, so you have to spend the money first and then get reimbursed. So just an aside. All right, I've got a motion and a second. Everyone knows what we're voting on. Weaver.
Yes.
Weaver's a yes.
Yes.
Kuppengarner, yes.
Yes.
Johnson, yes.
Yes.
Steer, yes.
yes.
Frixell, yes. Gates?
Yes.
Yes. Motion carried. We will get that ordered, and hopefully it won't take too long to get here. Things are moving pretty slowly these days. We'll wait on that other thing. You have anything else under that?
No, we already ruined it by UTV thing, so.
All right. All right, buildings and grounds.
Nothing to report.
Nothing to report. All right. Also in your packets were, anybody have any questions on committee reports? Any questions from the visitors? Seeing none, we'll move to other business. You should have in your packets a copy of ordinance number 20-09-01, designating and improving the Hannah City Business Development District number 1 and imposing a retailer's occupational tax, a service occupational tax, and hotel operation occupational tax in the Hannah City Business Development District number 1. Entertain a motion to approve such ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Weaver. Again, this is the final phase of setting up our BDD. If this ordinance passes this evening, then our time frame is looking at imposing this January of 2021. Then we will start seeing that additional tax revenue from that. Any questions before we vote? Hearing none, let's vote. Kuppengarner
Yes.
is a yes. Johnson
Yes.
is a yes. Steer
Yes.
is a yes. Frixell
Yes.
is a yes. Gates
Yes.
is a yes. Weaver
Yes.
is a yes.
Okay.
All right. Other things under other business. Give you a little bit more update and information on the complaints that we've been dealing with here recently. You'll remember the one over on Hannah Street where the subject refused to pay the fine. We asked our attorney to continue to pursue it in court. They filed a motion in court and noticed the person to attend. The person did not attend. So they were able, our attorneys were able to get a summary judgment. Once the subject was notified that there was a summary judgment against him, the subject paid the fine. If he had not paid the fine, there would have been a court hearing. It was earlier this week, or it was actually last week, wasn't it, Patrick?
27.
Yeah, it was scheduled for Thursday afternoon. We were able to get it off the calendar.
And when the subject paid the fine, the attorney's office contacted us to find out how we wanted to proceed. At this time, we had very little invested in court to go to move forward with this. So far, it was just the filing of the paperwork and serving him with the notice, the court notice. If we were to go to court, then we could have asked for attorney fees and filing fees. The court does not always grant those, and so we thought it was in our best interest to, we made our point, we enforced our ordinance, we got the fine money, and we saved ourselves court costs and moving forward with that. So we made the decision at that time. We were able to stop it before it went further and cost us any more money. So that's how we handled that one. The other complaint is over in that same area, over off of Hannah Street and 2nd Street area. There are some rental units that people have who are renting the units, are using it more as their own personal yard instead of kind of a business. It's zoned industrial, so the zoning on that is pretty minimal on industrial zoning. Some neighbors are complaining because people are working out of the rental unit. They're working on vehicles and four-wheelers and things like that, and the residents don't like that. They don't think it's appropriate because it's not a yard. It's a rental unit. So I asked our attorney to kind of look into, where do we stand? How do we enforce something like this? I told the complainants that if there is a noise issue, if they're disturbing the peace, they need to contact the police and file a report, get it documented, and then we can go forward on noise violations. It doesn't appear to be the noise problem as much as they want to be able to sit out in their backyard, and now they've got people on the other side of the railroad track. Basically, the people are using the railroad track area as their own personal yard. So I'm open to suggestions on how we handle this situation, what we want to do. Again, like I said, Patrick checked into it. We have spoken with the people who rent that. They said, we're not causing any problems. We're trying to stay out of the COVID and just sit here and relax and listen to their music and work on their cars and stuff as they see fit. So I'm open to suggestions.
What options do we have?
One thing we did talk about was talking with the landowner or the property owner and understanding what those spaces can and cannot be used for, and see to make sure that we're in compliance there. So that's a possibility.
We can't control the railroad, can't tell them they can't use the railroad, it don't belong to us.
It doesn't belong to us, and we can't control what they do on the railroad. That's up to the railroad. We've contacted the railroad. They don't have any interest in enforcing any trespassing on their right of way. To them, it's just a nuisance anyway. They haven't enforced anything on it for years, so. So yeah, it's not our property to police. So I'm kind of stuck. I don't know which way to go. We will be talking to the owner of the rental units and see if maybe they can put some pressure on them to.
Do they live there?
They live in the area. So Brian and I will be working on that, but I just kind of wanted to give you guys a heads up on what's happening.
They're just sitting around and working on why is the neighbor complaining about it. I mean,
Because they feel
they
like
just
they're,
don't wanna look at them, or,
Yeah.
you know.
they
Not
feel-
everybody in my neighborhood's the best looking people either, but I'm not gonna, you know.
We don't want to tell your name.
So, yeah, I
Just
don't
go down the
All
street.
nice.
know. All right, Brian and I will take a look at it and see if we can't come to some sort of resolution before the next meeting. But we'll keep you informed of what's going on there. A couple more things. Last week, on Wednesday, we did have our joint tax body meeting. It was attended by our TIF attorneys and representatives from the Fire Protection District, the Park Board, the Library Board, and the School Board. It is another step in the legal process of starting our TIF. All of those participated. The other taxing bodies did not participate. Peoria County Soil and Water, Greater Metro Airport Authority, Illinois Central Community College, Logan Township Road Fund, Logan Township Multi-Township, Logan Trevoli Multi-Township, and those are the other taxing bodies that were invited and did not participate. But it is a annual review board that meets of the taxing bodies. So we did it. It went well. That's about all I've got to say about it. The next meeting will be a public hearing on the TIF, which will be September 22nd. That is the next scheduled thing on our TIF. The notices will be coming out in the paper this week, the next 2 weeks concerning that. So,
9:22, it's different than our meeting?
yes. Yes,
What time is that?
so it'll be at 6 o'clock on the
Here?
22nd. It will be here and by Zoom.
That will include, the board will be here then.
Yes. It's a public hearing. You can attend by Zoom or in person. Only other thing is give you an update on our Rails to Trails. I think I told you at the last meeting that Peoria County and Farmington and Hannah City have all signed the intergovernmental agreements. Fulton County Board will be voting September 8th at their county board meeting whether or not they will join our intergovernmental agreement to assist in the 20% match that we will need for the federal grant if we get the federal grant. We are still, have not heard from the federal government if that grant has been approved. We did get some correspondence earlier actually at the end of last week asking for some more information to be submitted in reference to the grant. So I took a nice mile-long hike along the trail and took some pictures of some things they were asking about. I will say this, the trail is very overgrown. It's hard to walk through it, so I don't think anything has been down that trail in at least 10 years, and it might even be longer than that.
Well, probably when they pulled the railroad ties up,
When they pulled the ties up, that was the last time anything has been down through there. And it has, in those 10 years, it has grown up quite a bit. So, I think that's it. Does anybody have anything else? What? Oh, yeah. Final thing on the agenda is, as you know, told you, our water clerk, Brenda Pluswick, is retiring October 1st, and so we tasked the water committee to assist in locating a replacement for her. Tony, you want to give us your recommendation?
After meeting with the final two applicants today, and sitting down and talking with them and having one-on-ones, myself, the administrator, and the treasurer, we came up with our candidate of Tracy Sullenberger. She's out of Farmington, good experience. Everybody should have a copy of her resume. And so I'd like to make a motion that we offer her the position to start, I think, on the 3rd, if she's available. That would allow her to get in here and get a meter read in with Brenda, so she has that before
September 3rd.
September 3rd. It would allow her to get in and do a meter read once through with Brenda at least. She might be a little green on it the next time, but she would have Lori here to help her, but she'd also have knowledge of stuff she's doing out through the month, so.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
So I have a question. Did you ask her why she's had 11 jobs in 14 years?
I did. I had a conversation with her, and a lot of it is her husband has been in the military, and they've moved a lot, and so she's had to switch jobs for that reason. For a lot of it, some of it was kid related. But I had the same concern, and we talked about it. And, it's not ideal, but I found her reasoning credible.
These are jobs. The first one is in Texas. And the first two is in Texas. Then it's Peoria, Mapleton, Farmington, Morton, Bellevue, Farmington. So that didn't have anything to do with her husband.
I understand. She also talked about child care was another issue that came up. But I understand. I share the concern.
Okay, I was just asking the question if somebody had asked her.
Did we get a second on this?
We had two, I think.
Okay. All right, so I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? How many applicants did we get?
Around 10, and then Tony had sent it out, and the committee, and we narrowed it down to 3. And then Fred and I interviewed 3 yesterday, and kind of narrowed it down to 2, and then put it before the rest of the group this morning, or this afternoon, the last 2. And everybody kind of felt like this young lady was the best. There was another candidate that had good technical experience, but we felt like the customer satisfaction. And this young lady, she interviewed really, really well. She really did. I think the concerns I had, I can't speak for everybody, were the number of jobs and then the lack of. She's got some detailed experience, but really nothing in the billing area. But those that are closer to that were more comfortable with that than I took their word for it, because they know better than I do.
Any other questions? Roll call it. Johnson.
Yes.
Johnson's a yes. Steer
Yes.
is a yes. Fritzel?
Yes.
Yes. Gates?
Yes.
Yes. Weaver?
Yes.
Yes. And Hoopengarner is yes. Motion carries. That's all I have. Anyone else have anything to be brought before the board?
We passed out the committee and phones and so on. Would everyone check them and see if everything's correct or if they have any changes?
I don't have a home phone.
Okay.
Does anybody on Zoom have any questions for the board? Hearing none, meeting is adjourned.
You can get your question.
I didn't get my question.